These little white girls ain't they ain't worried about this black mermaid. These little white girls gonna go see this shit just as much as these little black girls and any other little girl out there. They ain't worried about shit. Yo dumbass, yo big dumbass sit up there on the couch looking on the computer between jacking off the porn, looking at this mermaid over here, getting pissed off because it ain't mine no more. Bitch, it never was. Shut your ass up and let everybody enjoy themselves. And for a change, just be happy for people. If you be happy for people, you're going to be a much happier person yourself. I promise you. I was just sitting around, and this is probably me having too much time on my hands, but I was sitting around thinking about that damn Little Mermaid discussion. You keep your ass under that water because these people are crazy out here. Not that we need any more evidence of how just ignorant this Little Mermaid discussion is, just how ridiculous it is. You know, this thing was ridiculous when it started. A lot of people, they forget that this whole controversy started 2 years ago, probably at the start of COVID. If you don't know this by now, so with the Little Mermaid, recently, I don't know what, you must have been under the sea if you haven't heard about it, but these people are going crazy because once again, these darkies out here, these black folks and these brown folks and these gays and they're just taking everything. This time the blacks, who are always greedy, never satisfied with what they have. We give and we give and we give to them, but they still got to take our mermaids, still got to take our elves, still got to take now they're taking all our imaginary creatures. Are you people never satisfied? So same old thing, right? Getting angry about something that's not even real. This was so stupid, this controversy, when it started. You forget it started back in 2019. People, the racists out there, so desperate to keep their imaginary creatures, they started to try to apply science to fantasy. People tried to justify why there can be no black mermaids. Here's one. Mermaids live in the ocean. Underwater equals limited sunlight. Limited sunlight equals less melanin. Less melanin equals lighter skin color. Because they live underwater, which has no access to light beyond a certain depth, Ariel and every other mermaid in existence would be albino. It might, I don't know about limited melanin, but it's definitely limited brain cells when it's applied to this. You probably saw the other one right there. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, you're just stupid. But correct me if I'm wrong, somebody wrote. But isn't it physically impossible for Ariel to be black? She lives underwater. How would the sun get to her for her to produce melanin? Nobody thought this through. No, you put too much fucking thought into it. You know, they're so desperate to maintain some status quo that they're applying science to fucking fantasy land. And I'm going to get to what the main point is, because we've all talked about this to the point of just ridiculousness. It's a comedy at this point. But they're trying to apply science to something that's not real. Somebody in the chat said, wow. So you didn't even know this. Desperation. That's how stupid and desperate they are. Forget that a crab can talk and sing Under the Sea with the Rastafarian accent. Where no one talks with that same accent, by the way. We're going to get right down to those small details in science. How come nobody else talks with a Rastafarian accent like that crab? If you want to get deep with it, which I don't. People, I encourage you, I implore you, I beg you, when people try to come at you with these arguments, applying science to not just mermaids, but cartoon mermaids, do not try to counter-argue. I've seen some people, well, I hear what you're saying, but technically it's close to the Caribbean area. Don't do that shit. Don't do that. That just makes you look stupid too. It's not real. None of this shit is real. So do not engage in an ignorant argument like that. I beg of you. Oh, yeah, we got to prove that there's no black fish people. Even though fish people don't exist. It just kills my brain cells talking about this. But the idiocy in this is obvious, all right? I mean, I don't have to tell you how stupid this is. If you're a smart person, a decent person, you're not that much of an asshole, you know how stupid. Like I said, it's turned into it's comedic now. So I'm not gonna, all the stuff that we talked about, or everybody's talked about, that's not what I want to come here and bring up. What I start thinking about with this is not the idiocy behind it, not the stupidity behind it, but the hypocrisy behind this whole thing. The hypocrisy is where you are going to see with this whole so-called controversy. The hypocrisy is where you're going to see where the real racism behind this is. So for anyone lying out there saying that this is about pandering, wokeness, a political agenda, I want you to do something. And I'm going to do this with you right now. This is why I want to come in and talk to you today. For anybody who's crying and whining about any of this, I want you to take a walk with me right now and look at a whole history of race swapping in cinema. And I'll say it's a lot. I can't, I'm just going to go through a few examples. We'll spend days if we want to go through every example out there. But this has been happening for years, for decades. But no one has said shit about it because the race swapping was the other way. Whitewashing. Alternative histories where it was a little bit lighter skin. No one complained about that at all, and the rest of us couldn't say shit. We just sat back and let it happen, and we just said, well, that's just the way it is. But I just want to go through this with you, man. For all these people whining about this particular incident with this cartoon fish woman, like this is the first time it's happened, let's take a walk and see how this is applied to history and cinema right here, where no one says shit. First of all, while these dumbasses out here getting upset about a fictional mythological cartoon creature, let's talk about the whitewashing of real people, real figures in history. We ain't talking about, made up characters. We're talking about real people in history. Example number one.
I got an idea.
They're a Canadian film crew for a science fiction movie.
So you want to come to Hollywood and act like a big shot without actually doing anything?
Yeah.
You'll fit right in.
People, that is Argo. Argo is the 2012 film that was directed by Ben Affleck. This is about a fake film crew making a fake sci-fi movie used as a cover to rescue 6 hostages from Iran. The mission was led by specialist Tony Mendez, who was played by Ben Affleck, who, as I just mentioned, also directed the movie. Now, if you couldn't tell by the name, Tony Mendez, played by white actor Ben Affleck, very good actor, excellent director, but also the actor in this movie who in real life was a Mexican American, Tony Mendez. Some people brought up the change of this real person, but there was no uproar. There was no uproar at all like it was with the Little Mermaid. In fact, there was a lot of people who said something about it, brought it to people's attention, but still they were able to sit back and say, you know what? Hey, but whatever. It's a good movie. It's actually a great movie. I actually love Argo, man. It's a great film. And a lot of us just stood back and just said, well, cool, whatever. Same old, same old. Great movie, though. And on top of that, the movie went on with no big uproar. The movie went on to win 3 Oscars. One for Best Picture, I think another for Best Director, and one for screenwriting. But nobody was saying shit about that. No one was whining about Argo. at all at the time. And like I said, a lot of people even pointed out that, hey, wait a minute, that dude don't look like that. They still said, hey, what, you know what, the movie's great. No big deal. No harm, kind of foul, but whatever. Moving on to some other films, and like I said, there's a lot. You could pick some out there. You could show me some. But I'm just picking some that I just remembered off the cuff here. This other movie, while not winning awards or probably even being as critically praised, not nearly as critically praised as Argo, there was a similar situation that happened with another movie that, while not critically acclaimed or winning a lot of awards, it was still a big box office success.
So is this some kind of a math club?
You ever studied blackjack?
That's 21. Like I said, at the time that it came out, I mean, I don't know how many people remember this movie, but at the time that it came out, the movie was a hit. Kevin Spacey, dick grabbing ass. Kevin Spacey before we knew he was grabbing as many dicks as he was. Kate Beckinsale, and the person that I want to bring attention to right here, Jeff Sturgis, who played Ben Campbell. The character was part of a MIT blackjack team that ended in scandal. As you can tell from the trailer, we're talking about counting cards. So Jim Sturgis, white British actor, that original white man. And again, this is not an anti-white rant, by the way. It is not. It is not, people. Please don't take it that way. But I'm talking about things for what they are. British white actor Jim Sturgis. He plays the character of Ben Campbell. The inspiration behind his character, who they say the real life character is, was an Asian guy, Jeff Ma. And this caused a stir actually at the time, where they're talking about how they whitewashed the character. Jeff Ma just said, hey, well, you know, was nothing I can do about it. Hollywood is Hollywood. They gave me some money and I didn't say shit about it, so whatever. But you know, the whole thing with this controversy behind this movie, this discussion about race swapping in this movie, it was soon forgotten because the movie, it made money. It was, as I said, a box office success, even if it was not a critical success. But what's really interesting here is I want to bring this particular case up because this movie, even by other Asian people, you know, this movie is an example of people who used the same old tired excuse to justify why they didn't want diversity, while their probably racist attitudes contributed to whitewashing people and race swapping and changing things around. For this movie, as I said, the controversy was short and swift. But you can read right here, the Media Action Network for Asian Americans, MANA, reported on their site that after the whitewashing issue was raised on Entertainment Weekly's website, producer Dana Brunette wrote, "Believe me, I would have loved to cast Asians in the lead roles, but the truth is, we didn't have access to any bankable Asian American actors that we wanted." Same old shit, man. Well, we wanted to, but y'all don't make no money. You know, it's the justification for them just not even wanting to try. That's bullshit, and that's been bullshit for years. So not only has this race swapping that's got so many people upset over the Little Mermaid, not only has it been happening for years, but it's been justified by saying, well, we would have done it. Just people just lying. Well, we would have done it, but hey, you know, y'all start making some money and then we can talk. You know, let's not forget the decades-long history. We could go back to when Hollywood first started. The decades upon decades of long history of black, brown, and yellow face used to portray real historic figures. Like this ridiculous shit right here with John Wayne.
Treacherous head is not safe on your shoulders.
That is John Wayne as Genghis Khan, who could give a shit about trying to sound like Genghis Khan. They rolled his ass all in that mud. Look at this right here, man. You know, this one was a flop. It's considered to be a terrible film, but I mean, that's not an isolated thing right there. with him doing this. There's a lot of brown face. John Wayne didn't even like Asians, man. His punk ass didn't even like people of color. You think I'm lying? Look up his history. He did a Playboy article where he pretty much said that, yeah, black people shouldn't be allowed to partake in certain things because they're not smart. This fool didn't even like Asians. Didn't mind dressing up like one, trying to cash in on one. Yeah, people out there naming other things. The King and I. You can look up a movie called A Touch of Evil. Charlton Heston played a Mexican in that. Thing is, it was funny because the movie's in black and white. I'm going to pull it up while I'm talking about it. The movie's in black and white, but Charlton Heston, that brown came through that black and white. That's how thick that brown makeup was. Let me see here. A Touch of Evil. Because I laughed at that. Because I even think he tried to have a Mexican accent, senor, and it still couldn't come through. It's a old Orson Welles movie. Oh, let me see here. So actually, and again, it's not a bad movie. It's actually a really good movie. It's just, it's kind of fucked up because of the times that it was made in.
Hold her legs.
Boy, some evil ass touches he doing right there. I forgot about this scene in the movie, man.
My husband really come up.
Look at you people. This is black and white, and you can see all that pancake batter and that chocolate cake batter on his face right there, man. You can see how thick that brown makeup is. Yeah, this has been happening for years, man. Like I said, decades upon decades, but for years, no one said anything because, well, the people that were doing it, they were in control and did whatever they wanted to do. And everybody else just had to accept that that's just the way it is. Oh, well, hey, maybe one day things will change. We had to be content with that for years, people. Now they're not you, but the dumbass racists out there and these ignorant ass people, now they want to get upset over a cartoon fish lady. Jesus Christ, man. And these people just gloss right over this hypocrisy knowingly. A lot of them, I'm not going to claim ignorance for everybody, and I'm going to show you why in a little bit. Because they know. A lot of them know exactly what they're doing, man. They just don't like the way things are going. That's what it is. They're just being selfish fucking crybabies about things. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm not going to call ignorance for everything out there. Some of them are stupid, bless your little dumbass heart. But a lot of these people they just want what they want. And they don't like anybody else taking their ball away from them. Fuck them all, man. God damn. Instead of complaining about art, you could be investing in art. Like with Masterworks right here. Hey, look, I'm just going to stop and tell you about this. I got to pay the bills around here. I got to do a little something. But let me just share this with you for a moment right here. People, I want to tell you about Masterworks. Masterworks is a site where you can invest in art. Now, I'm not talking about with like NFTs or anything like that. No, you know how I feel about those kind of things. Thing is, I have done pretty well for myself. I'm doing all right. Enough to start thinking about investing in some different things. And I actually checked into this site right here, Masterworks, and I was thinking about maybe investing in some art through this platform right here. And this is why I chose this sponsorship right here, because I was actually interested in looking into it myself. And since I was doing that, I thought, why not share that with you out there? And the reason why this was appealing to me, I'll tell you how this works. So the way Masterworks works is Masterworks buys actual paintings. As I tell you, I'm not buying any kind of digital stuff and NFTs or anything like that, but they buy actual works of art. From classic artists such as Picasso to all the way to more modern artists such as Banksy. And then it breaks them into shares, so you're investing in just a piece of the paintings. Now this way, you can invest in art, first of all, without being a billionaire or anything like that, or having to, go on some kind of Ocean's 11 art heist or anything like that. But the best part with this is that when they sell a painting, you're invested in that, so you get a share of the potential profits. And so far, Masterworks has sold about 6 paintings for an average net. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but that's an average net return of about 29% for their investors. Is that good? Yes, it is. You know, their collection of unsold art has appreciated by about 15.3%, and that's according to internal valuations out there. And the results have been very nice for them. As you can see, look at this: Banksy, Basquiat, Andy Warhol, Pablo Picasso, and some other artists here that you might not have heard of, but have done very well for themselves throughout history. The results have been very nice for them. Very nice. That is why they have over 500,000 members, and they have $500 million under their management for these works of art. And because the return has been so impressive, they have a waiting list, which is why I'm telling you about this right now, because through us, you know, you go up to the front, just tell the guy at the door, working in the museum, you say, hey, Double Toasted sent me. I want to come in and maybe invest in some art. You do that, and you can get past the waiting list. So if this sounds like something cool to you, you don't have to, listen, I'm not trying to sell you anything too hard. I'm just saying that this looks interesting. I'm looking into it. You can look into it also. And you can skip that waiting list by dropping our name, masterworks.art/toasted. That is MasterWorks.art, ART/toasted, TOASTED. Some of you out there, you're doing pretty good for yourself too. Look at you, you're finally an adult. Don't just start, going out there and buying a bunch of stuff. Start investing. Think about your future. Invest in a lot of things, but one thing that you might be interested in is investing in some art. Like I said, if you can't go off and buy a whole Banksy or Pablo Picasso or anything else, then think about investing in a shared investment in a piece of art. I want to thank Masterworks for sponsoring this portion of my rant. And I want to thank all of you out there for joining me today and being so supportive too. I told you I was going to tell you a little bit more about how these people know that they're being dicks about this. These people know that they're being hypocrites about this whole race swapping thing. We talked about real figures. You guys even dropped some names for me and whatnot. We've been trading off. A little bit of history right here, as messed up as it might be. But let's move on to the fictional characters. I mean, since we're talking about, a fictional character that started this whole stupid ass discussion, this fish girl, let's go ahead and talk about some of the race swapping that they've done with recent successful films. A lot of you might know about this. Again, because it's a recent hit, it was a phenomenal hit. The Hunger Games.
I just keep wishing I could think of a way to show them that they don't own me.
The Hunger Games, phenomenal success this movie was. Made a huge star out of Jennifer Lawrence, who played Katniss Everdeen. Thing is, people pointed out, and they said, we're not complaining. We're not raising hell. We just think it's curious that you changed the character to this Caucasian girl when the character was clearly described in the book as having dark hair and olive skin. And they say gray eyes. But hey, we enjoyed the movie. We're not complaining. Go ahead and do your thing. We know how it is. It happens all the time. What are we going to do about it? And really, there was, people pointed out, but no one really, again, made an uproar. I tell you where they did make an uproar with the Hunger Games. And let me even go further. People who did actually come out and say, come on, man, y'all do this all the time. Why did y'all change her? I mean, we're finally trying to get some representation up in here, and you'd have to go and change this. This would have meant a lot to a lot of people. And so many people responded with the same comments. Wow, you folks are sensitive. Man, can't you just shut up and enjoy a movie for what it is? It's not that big of a deal. All right, cool. I'll shut up. I'll sit back and just enjoy the movie. But those same people who were complaining about the people complaining about Katniss, not having olive skin or dark hair. Those same people who told us to shut up complain when they changed the character of Rue to black. Ooh, those people couldn't stand that. Some Hunger Game fans upset that the character of Rue is black. A side character. Character not that much in the movie. Lost their shit about that. Oh, don't you dare complain about Katniss not having that olive skin. Oh. And so was she black in the book? Because maybe some people didn't even know that. That makes it even crazier. I never read the books, but there were people complaining that she was black, and maybe that was the deal. Maybe it's because she was black in the books and people didn't even know. And people thought that, she was probably white in the books, and they were complaining about the character even being perceived. Even being perceived as being black. These people, they know what they're doing, man. And that's Amanda Steinberg that played her, man. So even when people perceive in their mind that you know why people think that? You know why people complained about? And there's an article right here. This is from NBC News where people complained that the character Rue is black. So what happens here is that mentality. People automatically, with a character like this, even when the character is a character of color, in their mind, the default for these characters is already white. That's the default for them, to where they can't even take the character like the character was originally. It's ridiculous, man. And as somebody pointed out, she was great in the movie. But no, I can't look past that dark ass skin right there, which actually is not even that dark. If you want to move on to some other examples right here, you got Angelina Jolie, just minor examples, but Angelina Jolie, when the movie Wanted came out, Angelina Jolie was cast as the character in the books who was actually modeled after Halle Berry. Nobody says shit about her being, her race swapping. Nobody says shit about her character being changed. No one said anything about that. You want to go into a more major character? In Batman lore, Ra's al Ghul. I think he's that character is East Asian, has East Asian and Arabic origins, descent. What they put in the movie? Liam Neeson. He didn't even try to explain why they race swapped him, but no, you know what? And nobody cared. Nobody said anything at all. No one made an uproar. Bane was changed. That's right. Bane was changed in the last Batman movie. Dark Knight Rises, yeah. Bane, who went on to be a major character. I think that character's South American, right? I didn't even bring that up. And a lot of people say, the character Ra's al Ghul is Asian in the comics. Bane was Mexican. Okay. I knew he's brown one way or another. I knew that Bane got down with the Boogie Brown one way or another, but I knew he wasn't a Caucasian character. Yeah, man. Do you see what I'm saying? This has been happening for a long time. Whether it be subtle ways or big ways, but no one, how many people have made a big deal about it? There is even hypocrisy within the Little Mermaid itself. These people don't stay, because there are things that are happening there and they ain't saying shit about it. Do you hear anybody complaining at all about Javier Bardem being King Triton, a Spanish dude? Now, they never said it, but I'm just taking a guess that since Ariel was white, I'm just gonna guess that her daddy was white too. But nobody's saying shit about that, and it could be for a lot of reasons. It could be because of colorism, because he looks more European. Also, it could be because a lot of people just not complaining about a dude, race swapping with him. Also, they, Disney, that's the thing, for years, traditionally throughout Disney and just throughout media, people, and this is why people are complaining. They're just used to seeing a certain kind of character up front, And the minority characters as sidekicks are supporting characters, are a background comedic relief. You know, that's what they've done this for years, man. You know, they cats, even in Africa, in the old Lion King, you know, when the side characters are, some of them minority characters, some of them are not, you know, but then, you know, your main character, except what he has to sing, is voiced by a white kid. Everybody else, mostly your minority characters are there to be supporting characters or, again, side comedy relief.
It's not funny, Ed. You knock it off. Well, he started it.
You know, I mean, they made sure, you hear that, they got everybody in there, black and Mexican. That's Cheech Marin and Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, it's something that a lot of people might not notice. And listen, for years that's been happening, nobody's been complaining about it. I complained about it a little bit, but nobody was listening to me at the time. But nobody said anything when that was happening. We just kind of rolled with it until, hey, maybe one day, we'll get our day. But nobody said shit, man. By the way, nothing I'm complaining about this. I like The Lion King as much as anybody else. But it's just something that throughout time, people are used to seeing things the way they are. And people cannot stand change, especially when they think that you're taking the spotlight away from them, which I cannot for the life of me understand, man. Can't you just be happy? You know, when you're happy for other people, you're happy yourself. Try it. I'm not lying. If you go out there and be happy for other people, you're not mad inside anymore. You're not stressed out. You're not angry at the world. So that's why I'm asking you, what is the big deal? Why is it that you grown ass man, trifling ass man out there getting mad about this cartoon mermaid because you can't stand seeing little black girls be happy? You can't stand the sight of these little girls or anyone being given hope that we might be moving towards a more equal world? Nah, you gotta be mad because them little black bitches are taking this away from me. Some shit you weren't even interested in the first place. What the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What is wrong? How shitty of a person do you have to be to where this upsets you? Are you fucking out your mind? You were intimidated by little girls? Because you don't want them to have some shit that's meant for them in the first place. Because I'm going to tell you something. Unless your daddy is an asshole, these little white girls ain't worried about this black mermaid. These little white girls going to go see this shit just as much as these little black girls and any other little girl out there. They ain't worried about shit. Yo big dumbass sit up there on the couch looking on the computer between jacking off the porn, looking at this mermaid over here, getting pissed off because it ain't mine no more. Bitch, it never was. Shut your ass up and let everybody enjoy themselves. And for a change, just be happy for people. If you be happy for people, you're going to be a much happier person yourself. I promise you. I'll take you to see The Little Mermaid if you stop bitching. We'll go in there and have a great time. And shut your ass up. And if you don't want to see it, then shut the fuck up and let everybody else have it. You know, it's funny. Because let's just be open. Full disclosure on my part. I'm going to look up something here. I've already said this, but I'm going to bring it up again. Let me see if I can find this here. Because it was ridiculous. I didn't like it, but I went ahead and just went with it. So, folks, you know, I saw that Resident Evil show on Netflix. And it's going to sound crazy, but if you don't know anything about Resident Evil, there's a character in the game. It's based on a video game. Character named Wesker. Wesker's white. And I'm down with that. They had a black Wesker on the show. I didn't like it. I was open about it. I said openly, I was like, I don't think they should have changed the character. But hey, you know what I did though? I shut the fuck up. I said if everybody else is happy with it, then cool. Who am I to come in and say, if everybody's cool with it, I'm not going to say anything. The guy's a great actor anyway. It looks ridiculous. He looks like old cheap-ass Blade. But what did I do? I shut the fuck up and I went on with my life. I didn't make no uproar. I didn't look stupid online complaining about Black Wesker, a fictional ass character. I had things to do with my life, and so should you. I don't like the prequels in Star Wars, but people love it. Who am I to fucking get online and start complaining about that? I got things to do. I got a life. I'm a grown-ass man with a business to run. I got shit to do to be complaining about Negro Wesker over here. Yeah, people, really. That's my last thing to you, man. Just move, just be happy for people out there that they're getting something that they didn't have. No one's taking anything away from you. No one's coming in here and colonizing your fantasy lands. You act like because this Black Mermaid right here, after this, every mermaid gonna be black. Like the Black Mermaids just taking over the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood. The Black Mermaids are here. People, this is a version of the Little Mermaid. This is a version of a public domain story, which means that this is just a version, and you're going to have you had other versions before this. You're going to have other versions after this. You think when Disney made this version, people complaining that, oh, wait a minute, the original version they had no talking crab and no talking bird. Where that damn flounder come from? Do you hear people saying that? No, because Disney did their version and moved on. Now they're doing the other version, and then you're going to have other versions out there. It's a public domain story. You don't own it. You don't like it, you go do your own fucking mermaid story. It's public domain. You hate it that much. And I say this all the time. If there's a sequel, a prequel, or a remake, something that you don't like, well, you know what? That original is going to be out there. That's not going anywhere. Ariel ain't going nowhere. White Ariel, she ain't going nowhere. She's there. You're never going to lose that. For all you middle-aged men out there who are upset about this, all you middle-aged racist dudes, if you're really upset, she ain't going nowhere. Ariel's still going to be there. Some of y'all just, man, black mermaids make my dick soft. I can't jack out to this. We know what's happening too on that end. Ain't fooling nobody. Yeah, man. Somebody pointed out, why does Sebastian sound Jamaican? When nobody else is Jamaican around there. I made that point earlier in this discussion. And you know what? There is no answer for it. Because it's a fictional goddamn character. That's why. Because they can do whatever they want to do. Why are we going to sit up here and start trying to ask about his accent when it's a crab that can talk? Where's the science on that? Well, you see, crabs could have evolved to have vocal cords due to a certain DNA. Nobody want. Stop. You sound dumb. You sound stupid. So, hey, people, that's all I wanted to come in and talk to you about. Thank you for letting me rant. Thank you for letting me get it off my chest. I just wanted to come in and talk to you. Because I really did think about, like, everybody's talking about these points over and over and over again. But really, no one's talking about the hypocrisy behind it. And that's where you see the real racism that's behind that. Because you see what people, these people make arguments now. But when people didn't make arguments about things previously, that's when you know they're full of shit. Because they didn't say anything back then. So thank you for being here, people. I really do appreciate it. I feel much better right now. I'm very happy. I'm happy as a black mermaid right now.